Federal judge hits the brakes on the Trump administration's funding freeze. The plan aimed to stop the flow of trillions of dollars into federal grants and loans.
The freeze was met with legal action, including a lawsuit from a coalition of attorneys general like New Jersey AG Matt Platkin. He joins us now from Newark. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me.
So this Trump's funding freeze is actually now on pause until Monday. What's y'all's plan for what happens next now?
Well, we're back in court this afternoon, again, arguing for this unconstitutional, illegal freeze of trillions of dollars of federal spending to be stopped. And I think people need to understand just how intensely this would affect their lives. Education could be affected for our kids, healthcare for our seniors, law enforcement could literally be defunded throughout the country, including in states like New Jersey. So I'm proud of the fact that a coalition of attorneys general across the country, which we are helping lead, has stood up to say the president cannot overrule the rule of law simply because he wakes up and doesn't like something.
Yeah, but can the president, does he have the power to override Congress when it comes to a budget?
No, he doesn't, not at least in this way, and it's never been tried before on this scale. With the stroke of a pen and with no warning and creating mass confusion, his administration froze potentially trillions of dollars of spending. Yesterday, we couldn't access Medicaid funds, so people's health care was questioned. We couldn't access housing funds, so we didn't know if people were going to be thrown out on the street in the bitter cold. I actually got a notice that the administration was halting all efforts to combat drug trafficking, something that I think is a priority of this administration. So it's clear that they overreached here as they spent the entire day yesterday trying to walk it back. But in doing so, they only created more confusion for the millions of residents of my state and in states across the country.
What's your biggest concern with this potential federal freeze?
How much time do we have? I'm concerned for seniors who depend on Medicaid for health care and critical services. I'm concerned for our young residents as a parent of two young kids whose early childhood education is questioned with Head Start. I'm concerned about the safety of our communities. If you're going to defund the police, something that I think this administration has said they don't like, that will have a real impact on the safety of our state. So all of this is deeply concerning, and I'm confident the court is going to step in and say you cannot reject and overrule duly authorized spending passed by Congress and supported by a president.
Now, the White House has said that Social Security, Medicare, and food stamps would not be affected. Why do you think these programs were spared?
Well, look, I think it depends on what hour we're in. Their guidance seemingly has changed by the minute. Certain programs have specific statutory authority, legal authority, which even they, I think, know they couldn't override. But look, they came out yesterday and said Medicaid wasn't affected, and yet Medicaid was frozen throughout the country, including in New Jersey yesterday. 75 million Americans rely on Medicaid for their health care. So I have a tough time taking them at face value when the initial guidance they put out was so broad and so disastrous for this country, and that's why we really need a court to step in and protect the residents of this nation.
And we will be watching it all play out. New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.